I think a whole lot of casual racism is going to be coming to fresh because it existed in era. And this is what I'm talking about. I made a little dumb video before about the Spanish speaking mages that are going to appear in Pugs you're in, and they're going to be AFK and they're going to make your life harder. And it's stupid and it's unfair that they're wasting your time. And this will contribute to people becoming comfortable saying things about South Americans, Malaysians, Filipinos, lots of these other lower income countries. I don't want to say too many countries because I'm going to get some of them wrong. I'm going to piss one of you guys off. Anyways, you're going to see this. People are going to be referring to them as like Jajas, or they might say some anti-Mexican slurs if they're really like crazy, although there's not too much of that. You know, people have kind of reinvented the wheel a little bit on racism to come up with new ways to talk about these gold farmers, but where they're not addressing their primary fair critique, which is that these people are making my video game less fun. Now, I want to talk a bit about these people because I've had gold farmers in my guild before years ago, and it was a bad idea. But I did it because I looked a little bit into like how these people's lives work, and I used to talk to all the guildies. And one time, somebody started talking to someone in Spanish, and they ended up in the guild. And then I wanted to get to know them too, and I realized, oh, this chick definitely lives in Venezuela and is embarrassed that she makes her income by selling WoW gold. Like this girl raided with us for like a year, and she would be farming gold constantly and be broke in game almost constantly. She actually showed up to raid and did a pretty good job, which is why I played with one of these people who was definitely a gold farmer, because they did a good job in raid. And as a raid leader, that was like really all I cared about, was that and them getting along with people. And they got along with the few people who spoke Spanish very well in the guild. But most of these people, they're in this is a really unfair situation. And a lot of people in America or the EU, I'm sure, the West, they hate their jobs. They hate them. They don't like how they have a tiny impact on the world, or they're doing something that's negative productivity, like you're working for the government. Haha, any of my viewers that work for the government. That's how I feel about the government. Sorry, guys. But I used to work for Microsoft, and I would write code for things that I thought were fucking stupid, that didn't make Xbox customers have anything better and didn't make even Microsoft money a lot of times. And this was very frustrating. And I worked other jobs earlier in my life where, you know, sometimes like the best job I ever had was scraping grease out of barrels, because I could actually see that I was doing something and it helped out the team, and I understood that what the chemicals were going to be used for, because the owners of the company actually like had some pride in it and communicated that to us. And so even though I was a minimum wage employee in a factory that was like 100 degrees and I was like 17, I fucking loved the job. And for all the bad things about working in the West, having an office job like most of the viewers, and doing things that you feel are meaningless so that way you can earn money, imagine how awful it would be if, you know, maybe 25 years from now, I don't mean to seem like an Elon Musk fanboy or something, but like 25 years from now, technology is a lot different than we imagine. There's literally people living on Mars and they're like super rich. And there is like Martian World of Warcraft. And then you, the poor American now living in Earth, which is where all the poor people live, you now can either go be like maybe a doctor if you're super smart and grew up in the right place and help people, or you can sell gold in Martian World of Warcraft and make a whole lot more money than being a doctor, and do things that are entirely meaningless and have people denigrate you 24/7, and they just don't get it. These fucking Martians don't get why we're here on Martian World of Warcraft fucking mining stupid iron to sell in this stupid video game to sell to the Martians. I don't think that what these gold farmers are doing, they're not fucking taking advantage of us in any ways. And I don't even really think that they're messing the game up that much, because most of what happens when these people farm gold is they damage the integrity of you needing to pick flowers in the video game to raid. That's really mostly what they're doing. The other thing they're doing is, if GDKPs exist, then they allow people to buy loot priority. So that's really the the big ones. You can, if GDKP exists, RMT lets you buy loot priority, which yeah, I could see that it's upsetting. Oh, and it also makes it so people have to spend less time doing the activities that they just don't do, like farming out in the world. Like, people really hate that. Probably most Black Lotus is farmed by bots, even though there's tons of players who use them, and there's like, most herbalists are probably not people trying to make money selling gold. It's just, it's a weird situation, this whole RMT thing in World of Warcraft and how it impacts the economy. But it's not a good reason to say bad things about people from these other nations, I think. And there's fucking good reasons to talk shit about fucking nations. I'm not gonna fucking talk about Israel and Palestine on this channel. But you know, like, talking about these fucking Filipinos, how dare they farm gold in my favorite video game? Like, chill the fuck out. It's crazy in Era. It bothered me. Like, I'd be playing with people. Like, quite often I'd be like a raid leader, and I didn't really know how to deal with it. Like, somebody would just offhand say something very racist about and this would be rare, I said this before, but like, about Mexican people. Like, because it's funny, and it's like, it reminds you of the South Americans that are doing the RMT. But this shit's bad. It makes people fucking uncomfortable. Like, all you need is to say this stuff in front of somebody that has a friend that earns their living this way, and then all of a sudden it's like way, 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 way less fucking funny. And as far as, you know, being in your feelings about it, I mean, also, it's bad for the game, I think. It would be much better, in my opinion, if instead of people having some kind of racially or nationalistically based, like, tribalism, which makes them dislike these people, if instead they could just be real matter of fact about it. Like, I feel bad for these people. If you only speak Spanish, I'm not going to let you in a raid with me. I'm never going to do that again. Ever again. I've done it before. I helped that girl out that, like, was a farmer in Venezuela. Like, one time, I don't know what the fuck happened, but she was like, hey, I, like, can't afford to play WoW anymore. I'm pretty sure, like, probably she just got scammed trying to sell gold and then didn't have an extra $20, and I just paid her sub for a month. And then she, like, kept on playing for months and months and months, probably went back to selling gold. No idea. And after knowing her, it was a whole lot less funny hearing people talk about these fucking gold sellers. Way less. And back, you might have, some of you, if you've been watching the channel for a while, you might remember this, but at one point I was interviewing a bunch of guild leaders, and I wanted to, like, make kind of like a podcast thing, but I didn't know how to edit it. So I never put this on YouTube. But one of the guys that I talked to ran a very, very high rated guild. I can't say who, like, it is or the guild, and you'll know why in a second. And a thing that they did was that they're just like, hey, I know my guildies buy gold, a fucking lot of it. I buy a lot of gold, a fucking lot of it. And I wanted to make this safer so that way they wouldn't get banned. That's like the angle this guy was going for. And what he did is he actually found some gold farmers that, I don't know how well they knew each other, but they had some kind of relationships with each other, these gold farmers. I think they all lived in, like, Malaysia or something. I don't know. I might have it wrong. But basically what he created in his guild is that, and here's another thing, you might not know this about, like, the gold selling market, but basically the websites that sell gold take, like, half the profit off the top because there's a lot of chargebacks and it's hard to get traffic on your site to sell gold. So, like, when you're a guy selling Mara boosts, running a bot, typing in Spanish, and, like, AFKing and MC runs to gear your character so you can do the Mara boosts better, you only keep, like, half or, like, 40% of the money that the gold goes for, because you also have software costs that you have to pay for, because a lot of these guys, they use bots because it lets them fly hack, and so that means that, like, now their 300 millisecond ping doesn't matter as much for them being able to farm 300 mobs at once, right? So, like, it's expensive for them. They're paying, like, I think licenses are like 50 to 100 a month for these bots. I'm not sure. I know it's, like, fancy. They use something called a Lua unlocker, but anyways, back to this story about this guy. He found these gold sellers, and what he did was he's like, okay, well, I know that they only get half the money, so what I'll tell them is if they sell gold just to people in the guild, I'm gonna, like, guarantee that they'll make this many thousands in sales a month, and they're gonna get to keep, like, 70 or 80%. So instead of, like, the maybe on the market, like, I don't know, on G2G or something, maybe gold is like $1 for a certain unit. And if you instead bought it within this guild, it's like 80 cents. But the people selling it are actually making about 50% more money per hour because there's no middleman now. And then he put another thing on top of this, which I think is fucking cool. in this guild, so you imagine there's like high rated raiders, and then there's this group of farmers that have very little ability to like actually share a culture and speak the same language. And he made a channel where they're posting how the money that they earn is changing their fucking lives. Okay, so it's like you have this guy, like at first he just seems like some dude who speaks a funny fucking language, and he like sells you gold. But then like you see that like he's posted like how their family has moved to much nicer properties. And it's not like in the US or the EU or someone's like, oh yeah, I have a nicer house now, like the paint's better. It's like, no, like your house is like made out of fucking sheet metal. And now it's like bricks. Like the difference is actually enormous. Or I remember I was reading some things in this Discord, and a thing I saw was like someone's like, yeah, and you might not know this, but a lot of these Asian countries, people are like riding motorbikes and stuff, and so the roads, and you can get hit on a motorbike, and so like they got hit on a motorbike with their kid, and they made a little post about how like obviously they're really worried, and it didn't look like there was anything wrong with their kid, but you don't know, you're worried they have like a brain injury or something, they're very young, and you can't talk to them about it, and they normally wouldn't have had the money, but they've been doing this for a while, and so they were able to go to the hospital. They found out nothing was wrong, and they were thankful for that, because like before they ran into this dude and joined this guild and were able to like sell gold to these people through this weird system, they they would have just been like, I don't know if something's wrong with my kid, I can't afford to like go to a doctor, we're just gonna go home and I'm gonna pray. And it's so cool. It's so fucking cool that this guy made this. And like he added me to the Discord, and I was like looking through it, and he like wanted me to actually talk about it on YouTube and talk about him in particular. Like, bro, you're gonna get banned. You're gonna get these people banned. Like, you can't do that. You can't fuck this thing up, even though it's super cool. And I believe stuff happened, and this is no longer happening in that guild. And I'm not exactly sure what happened. But I don't think this is going on anymore, and that's why I'm like okay with talking about it, because like there's gonna be people who know who I'm fucking talking about when I mention this, because like this is a crazy thing, and if you've seen it before, it's super interesting. You wouldn't be able to keep your damn mouth shut about it, just like me. But can you kind of see how like if instead of these people just being this avatar in like your ZG run who maybe runs off with all the fucking gold, and like stealing's fucking bad and fuck those people, but like you understood all this shit, it would just make it seem so much more complicated to bitch about where they were born. It'd be fine if instead, like, I mean, this would be my take on it. Like, if somebody's like, hey, I have a friend that, like, sells gold, and I think he's, like, an okay mage. Like, hey, if you have an alt group and you just need a body, take him. I'd be like, hey, bro, no, this is the reason why. I've done this before. People who are super fucking desperate for things will do shit that makes no fucking sense. And I have played with people who were gold farmers before. Like, that chick from Venezuela, she was fine. She never did anything, but she recommended some friends to my guild, and all of them did stupid shit eventually. All of them. And it was about gold every single fucking time. And like, I get it, because they're fucking in poverty. Their lives are super fucking challenging compared to ours. And I don't want to expose myself to that drama, so I won't play with them. But I really don't want to be in when I'm running 40-man raids later. If somebody starts talking about these people like the fucking Jajas in front of raid, I'm like, hey, dude, if it's like 8 of us in a channel and we all understand, like, it's different. But there's like 40 people here, and I don't think it's fucking cool to say this, all right? It's not cool. I know you didn't mean anything about it, bro. I don't really care, like, all that much. But, like, we can't fucking call these people names because of where they live and the fucking languages they speak. That shit's fucking weird. It's fucking weird. It's gonna be all over fresh unless a lot of people change their minds about these poor fuckers who live in terrible shitholes and are just trying to have their lives be better. But yeah, I'm not like a big SJW or anything. I mean, I say fucking jokes that get me in trouble on YouTube. So it's like, it's not about that, guys, but like, just, God, stop shitting on poor people. It's cringe. If you're looking for a raid group on Alliance, 2 p.m. Eastern Saturday, Night Slayer, North America, hit me up in Discord, Jake from Tree. You'll know it's me because the Discord profile looks schizophrenic. Once you see it, you'll know what I mean. Peace.